Yo, what's up? I just wanted to do a prospect evaluation, probably not for this year, but for our next year guy that I think is just really good. But this all started out like I find Van Vliet to be an interesting prospect. He went undrafted just because, there were just so many concerns with who he was as a player, and like his shot diet was just so unique. He wasn't efficient at the rim, but he was just an uber efficient playmaker. And like you look at his prospect profile or when he was at Wichita State and he was shooting under 50% at the rim. And that's just something like usually I'd look at that and be like, wow, this guy's undraftable. Like you can't draft this guy at all. Um, Especially being undersized, but he was just such a good passer, such a good defender, and he's just super interesting. And I've been trying to learn from him. And so what I did, and by the way, this is carried in the NBA. Like he cannot score at the rim. His career like peak is 55% at the rim, and around the rim, it's just it's worse than that. It's just terrible. And I assume that it'll just keep getting worse as he ages. But it's just super interesting that he found a way to be such an effective passer. He won a championship as a starting point guard on the Raptors with Kawhi, and his defense was just elite. And a lot of that goes into the weight and just how productive he is on that side of the floor. And so I was querying for the shot diet. I think the shot diet is the most. I just gave away who I was looking at, but I was querying for his shot diet, like someone that has a Mori ball percentage of like above 70, but it still accounts for rim frequency. Like, so I did 0.35 rim frequency and 35% 3 point rate. Along with one thing that was super unique about Van Vliet is that he had over 100 attempts at the rim, and the shots that he did make, he was only assisted 3% of the time at the rim on his shots. Like, that's absurd. And 5% in the mid range, even though he didn't take a lot of those, his frequency was obviously like sub 35. And it was just super interesting. So I really value the volume at the rim. And that's kind of what I was looking for a guard that can take it to the rack, even though that they're still not, maybe that they're not as quite efficient. But it was just mainly the shot diet. And guys I found were obviously the two big names in here are Kyrie Irving and Damian Lillard. And that's pretty interesting to me, considering Damian Lillard was drafted as, I think, a senior out of Weber State. He only played 7 games this year, so might be a little skewed in that way. And Kyrie only played 11 games his freshman year at Duke. But if you look at these other guys like Skylar Mays was in the NBA for a little bit. I think he played for the Blazers and the Lakers, but he still found a way, even though his defense wasn't the greatest, he still found a way to be an effective passer, someone who took care of the ball, didn't really, turn it over a whole lot, and still like when he was on it, he like his potential assists were pretty fire. Like his assists per 100 minutes were really cool. And then you see other guys. Let's see, Pierre Jackson. I don't even think that he played a whole lot, but let's just look at what he got. Yeah, 84 minutes, but I mean, he was still effective with the basketball on ball percentage of 48% or 46% is pretty insane. Still was not effective at the rim, but again, small sample. What does Skylar Mays look like? I'm kind of going off. Did not score at the rim really well. 3 point, that's whatever. Like, let's look at that rim percentage in the NBA or before. Yeah, most of it is sub 60%. That's not very great, but we're just talking about the playmaking. Austin Rivers, obviously a big name. Um, Austin Rivers, let's look. I mean, again, not really effective at the rim at all, but the passing was really cool. He stayed in the league for a long time. Um, so I think the passing has to go in part with the shot diet that they have. This Maury ball kind of three and rim, more modern day NBA style is just it was more adaptable and it's just know how to pass. They were obviously adapting to it pretty well. And one player that I found was in the 2026 out of these players and even prior is this guy named Josiah Lake out of Oregon State. And he looks really, really cool. He's finishing at the rim very well. He's very unassisted at the rim and even in the mid range. And he gets the line a crazy amount. He's still an effective playmaker. He's on a terrible team. Like, let me show you. He has only two other players positive BPM, like barely positive BPM. And he is still finding ways to be effective with the basketball in his hands and not be completely dreadful like these other guys. I feel like it'd be a lot harder to do that. He didn't really have usage these past 2 years at Oregon State, but he still had a positive assist to usage. Like he wasn't touching the ball, but I mean the turnover percentage has been relatively consistent with on a bad team. And I queried also for guys who also had a low usage, high or over a usage to assist ratio of over one that actually played minutes, and you get guys like Davion Mitchell, Devon Hall. I mean, the worst passer here is obviously Sterling Brown, and these are 1 year samples. But if you look, obviously we know Tyrese Halliburton is a like monster playmaker. He had a 1.7 assist to usage, and he had a usage of only 10%. That's pretty crazy. But if you look at a guy like even Jason Preston, let me look. Jason Preston, fantastic playmaker. Like these guys that are low usage, above one assist to usage is proven to be pretty effective. You got guys Monte Morris, in some of his years. Oh, didn't even click. I guess here we go. Monster playmaker. Again, this is one of the reasons why he stayed in the league. Now, obviously, the defense was kind of average, not anything crazy. Um, You got guys like Devon Hall. I think Devon Hall pretty fire, if I remember right. While I was making this, let's look. Offense, passing, a very efficient playmaker. So these guys with low assist usage early on have proven to be like they can contribute in the league, and that's kind of what Josiah Lake is doing has done in the past, while still being effective, like scoring at the rim. And we haven't even talked about one other thing that I'll get into in a second. But now that he's actually getting usage, he's increased his usage by like 7%, and his assist percentage has jumped up over 10%. And while I think this turnover percentage, while it can be attributed to the increase in usage, I mean, I think it's partly because his team is awful. Like if you look at first conference play and even top 100 comp, his assist percentage is doubled and his turnover percentage is staying relatively like it is consistent with his priors. Like he's not turning the ball over more while he's still increasing his passing volume. And I think that is an indicator of like this guy can be a monster playmaker too. And not only is he doing that while attacking the rim, like he'll hit over 100 rim attempts by the end of the year on hopefully relatively uh, efficiency at the rim. He's still getting to the line and drawing fouls. Like this is absurd. Like 50 or 68% overall, 55% last year, 94. I mean, limited minutes. I mean, 35 isn't anything. Like that's not bad at all. And he got there 94% free throw rate. That's insane. And he's scoring. He can shoot it at a freaking amazing clip. If this volume went up, I'm scared of where I might rank him next year, to be honest with you. And he dunks. He dunks. This is absurd. I did a query for guys who have made the NBA, have a free throw rate over 60, and then they're 6'4" or shorter because Josiah Lake 6'2" listed. And you get NBA guys. I mean, Elfrid Payton was he was pretty good, at least for a little bit. Like in terms of passing, it just gotta check myself. I mean, he turned it over a little bit, but like he's not terrible. He wasn't a terrible passer, and he couldn't really shoot like that. Whereas, let's see, where was the query? Let's see. Elfrid Payton had a 60% free throw over the course of his career. That's that's not Josiah Lake. This is just a completely different thing. If anything, he's closer to George Hill, while he doesn't have the like I was, referring to Fred Van Vliet, who was just a monster playmaker. Like 39 assist percentage is just absurd, and 3.7 stocks. But a thing is with that, like, dude, he was playing on a much better team. He had Landry Shamet and Ron Baker, who was a really good like college player for Wichita State. He had like 13 guys in positive BPM, whereas Josiah Lake only has two other guys. Two other guys. If anything, he's closer to George Hill. One thing I haven't talked about for Josiah Lake is that he rebounds. I mean, if you look, sorry, I'm clicking through a lot of tabs. If you've clicked off, I don't blame you. But we have 13% rebound percentage this year. Priors are consistent, and that's something Van Vliet had as well, like over 10 rebound. Like I think that can be attributed to system, but I mean they're both doing it. George Hill, who I just mentioned, like 18. I don't think he'll ever reach that, but I mean Josiah is kind of doing this. He had over 80% free throw percentage. I mean Josiah Lake is 87% over his career. Like this is just absurd stuff. This is outlier. This is outlier stuff right here. Um, and one thing I haven't talked about, these on-offs are kind of absurd. They haven't played like the sample is significantly lower than when he's off the court or compared to on-offs, whatever. Look at how much his defense shifts. It shifts, I think, 16 points without garbage time in favor of Josiah Lake. The offense gets, 8% better or no, 12% better or 12 points better when he's on the court. They foul less when he's on. They're such a much better defensive team when he's on, like when defending locations of the court in all areas. The assist percentage goes up when he's on. The 3-point rate goes up. He's getting these guys open looks. He's attacking and kicking. Like these play type numbers are, considering how bad this team is overall, he is attacking the rim effectively. I don't really care about the efficiency like that just because, again, team context and everything. But previously, like these frequencies, like he's running pick and rolls. He has, what do you call it? A variety of, like he can be utilized in different ways. Like he can play off the ball, I'd imagine. Like he can shoot the ball. And he's not a crazy slouch on defense either at all. I mean, granted, he's 6'2", so there's going to be some defensive limitations at some degree. But these frequencies I care about quite a bit. He's being used like attacking the rim and passing out of it at a high clip. He's running the PNR. I just care about attempts more than anything at this point, and that's what he's doing. Effective in transition prior years, even this year he's efficient. They're just getting out less, probably because they're a terrible defensive team, honestly. Um, But this is just incredible stuff. I think that this is outlier activity. He's going to be 22 on draft night next year. I don't think he's going to come out this year at all. I didn't mention the ATO. It's 2.1 over the course of his career, and I think that's completely fine for everything that I've said. Um, yeah, this is a definite guy. I don't know how he hasn't been mentioned. I don't know how he's being missed. This cognition is just there. Um, There's not much else to say. This is a profile that screams like heavily, like really good passer in the NBA. And oh, I forgot to mention he's 100 listed at 190 pounds via their site, and believe Van Vliet right now is 195. So he's not like these other guys like George Hill. Um, Granted, again, George Hill's amazing, but these smaller guards, like no shot. I love Tyler Tanner like so much, but there's a real chance that he comes in listed at like 170 or less. Like there's a real possibility of that happening. Um, I hope it doesn't, but that could happen. But Josiah Lay, he is 190 pounds, 22 point like 6 on draft night next year. I think that he's just going to be a fantastic player. I think he already is, and I'm excited. This is just outlier behavior. Not much else to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you watch all the way through, give me a follow. That'd be much appreciated. And I hope you guys have a great day.